An F-16 fighter jet pulls alongside a civilian aircraft cruising at 39,000 feet. The military pilot tries to raise the civilian crew on the radio, but there is only static. The civilian jet is flying itself, maintaining a perfect heading. When the F-16 pilot maneuvers close enough to look inside the cockpit, the view is chilling. The forward windshield is coated in a thick layer of frost. Inside, the pilot and first officer are slumped forward, motionless over their controls. This is a ghost plane. The engines are burning fuel, computers executing their programmed route, and the aircraft is completely functional. Yet everyone on board is completely incapacitated. Two distinct events define the scenario in modern aviation history: the tragic flight of a chartered Learjet in October 1999 and the doomed Helios Airways Flight 522 in August 2005. These flights were brought down by a silent, invisible biological failure, hypoxic hypoxia. The air we breathe at sea level contains roughly 21% oxygen. As an aircraft climbs, that percentage stays exactly the same. What changes is the atmospheric pressure. Without enough pressure to compress gas molecules together, human lungs cannot force oxygen into the bloodstream. This chart shows the FAA's time of useful consciousness. It maps the exact window a pilot has to make life-saving decisions at various altitudes. Look at the 10,000-foot mark. This is the threshold where the human body first registers oxygen starvation and symptoms initiate. As oxygen saturation drops, portable EDG monitors record immediate suppressions in alpha, beta, and gamma brainwaves. This electrical dampening systematically degrades a pilot's cognitive and executive functions, slowing their reaction times and impairing their judgment. Research indicates a profound lack of self-awareness during these events. Up to 42% of test subjects do not realize they are suffocating, instead experiencing a warm, carefree feeling of euphoria. That cognitive blind spot doomed Helios Flight 522. During pre-flight checks, a pressurization controller was left in the manual position. As the Boeing 737 climbed, the outflow valve remained open, and the cabin slowly lost its pressure. As the aircraft passed 10,000 feet, a warning horn blared in the cockpit, but the oxygen-starved crew, already suffering from severe cognitive impairment, misidentified it. They thought they were hearing a minor configuration alert meant only for the ground, and they continued their climb. At moderate altitudes, hypoxia's primary danger lies in how it neutralizes the brain's ability to recognize a threat. The dynamics change brutally between 35,000 and 45,000 feet. In the upper stratosphere, the physiological margin of error entirely vanishes. This section of the chart shows the severe collapse of the time of useful consciousness at extreme heights. At these altitudes, crews have less than a minute, sometimes mere seconds, to save themselves. In 1999, the chartered Learjet N-47BA suffered an acute sudden decompression while cruising at 39,000 feet. A sudden loss of pressure at this height triggers a rapid and violent onset of physiological symptoms. Night vision deteriorates immediately, followed by tunnel vision, extreme tingling in the extremities, and immediate loss of motor control. The Learjet's cockpit voice recorder captured the sound of the cabin altitude oral warning, but no voices. The crew likely lost consciousness in a matter of seconds, failing to put on their emergency oxygen masks before their useful consciousness expired. In the upper stratosphere, an explosive decompression outpaces human reaction time. Our biology becomes a fatal liability. The Helios 522 flight continued on autopilot for hours. In a tragic climax, a flight attendant who held a commercial pilot license managed to stay conscious using portable oxygen. He entered the cockpit and desperately attempted to gain control of the aircraft, but the engines flamed out from fuel starvation and the plane crashed into hilly terrain in Greece. The Learjet met a similar fate. After flying 1,500 miles off course, it exhausted its fuel supply, departed controlled flight, and spiraled into an open field in South Dakota. The Learjet crash claimed the lives of all 6 people aboard. Among the passengers was professional golf legend Payne Stewart, a loss that sent shockwaves through the sports world and brought hypoxia into the public eye. To combat this invisible killer, the aviation industry relies on a specific defense. Pilots undergo mandatory, simulated high-altitude exposure inside sealed pressure chambers. This training forces pilots to identify their own unique hypoxia signature in a safe environment. One pilot might experience tingle in fingers, another might notice lips turning blue, or feel a wave of dizziness. Surviving a decompression relies entirely on procedural muscle memory. A pilot must override the brain's encroaching confusion and don an oxygen mask the very second they feel their personal signature. Humanity's ability to travel safely at 40,000 feet relies entirely on an artificial metal shell. When that shell fails, our only defense is recognizing the silence before the mind fades away.